Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of September 5th. We're just going to jump right in here, Leo, and we are going to see what is going on for you in your current general energies, just the general energies for the week, basically, in this first row here. Next, in the area of we're going to look at the area of the unexpected in this next row here. And in your next row after that, we're going to look at what you need to know for your highest good at this time. And clearly, it is time to breathe. You have that breathe card. This does look like a little bit of a scary row here. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, Leo. But, again, don't panic. As I always say, tarot doesn't control your life. And it might be nothing. So that's that. In your last row, we're going to look at any messages from your guides, which clearly you are receiving communication from your guides. You have the judgment card right there. On top of all that, we're going to pull 3 yes or no question cards at the end. In your first row, you have this, I was laughing because every single reading I do for you, step outside your comfort zone right here. You have this North Node card. As I've been saying, for like 2 years now, everything you want is on the other side of something you've never done before, Leo. It's like, if I were a Leo, I would definitely be trying to leave comfort zones as much as possible. I think this is true for every single person that's alive right now, but I think it's extra important for you with this energy. And, I wouldn't be afraid to, try anything that could even be shocking. Maybe you are making some decisions that shock people in your life, but as I always say, when people are shocked by the things that you do, they probably live a pretty boring life. So, is it that big of a deal? I would say no. And, in this row here, you have the 9 of Cups, the 6 of Swords, and the 5 of Cups. Again, I feel like, part of me feels this right here. Look at this, how this is set up. 9 of Cups, like you're happy, sitting pretty, sitting in a powerful position. 5 of Wands, conflict from people around you. Ace of Swords, like your inner truth. To me, this reminds me of like when people say, you've changed. You know what I mean? It's like if I didn't hear you've changed at least, I don't know, like once a week, I would be worried about my life personally. It's like, yeah, I just haven't stayed the same like you, And I'm not saying you, Leo. I'm saying the people that say that to you, right? So I feel you could be hearing that a lot. Like, you've changed. You're different. It's like, yeah, damn straight. I'm different. That should be your attitude, Leo, because I feel like what you're changing to is something that's much more maybe empowered, enjoying life, 9 of Cups, like card of enjoyment, happiness, wishes, and just fulfillment in general. So maybe you have changed, but I feel like these changes are, kind of for the better. And the only reason people might be creating conflict about the changes is because you're pointing out something in them where they don't change, right? Where they don't leave a comfort zone, where they don't face their own fears. You have these 6 of Swords. I kind of feel like you're seeing something before it happens. And that's what I feel that Tower is also talking about here as well. It's almost as if you're seeing that you need to walk away from a situation, or you need to kind of you're preparing for something on the other side. And I don't mean the other side as in you're dying here, Leo. I mean the other side as in, this is striking me kind of as a business decision that you could be making. That's how it's popping into my head. It could be in work, business, career. Even if you're retired, you could be making decisions about your finances or something like that. And I feel that you're making a change. It's like you're getting ahead of something here. And that's really what I feel like this reading is talking about. It's almost like, I'm not saying getting ahead, but, I feel like you're kind of getting ahead of something and you're avoiding a Tower moment is really kind of like what I'm getting here. You even have the 5 of Cups here. And so I feel like you've experienced some disappointments in the past in love. Even if we go like this, 5 of Cups, 5 of Wands, Lovers right there. So some of you, as far as love is concerned, I feel you could have experienced past disappointments, but I feel like there's a lot to look forward to in love. The whole point of 5 of Cups is that he still has these two cups here, but I always say he doesn't just get the 2 cups. He gets the bridge and the castle that's down over here as well. So I feel you're kind of headed towards something much more fulfilling in love and probably just, much more secure as well. The cups, the castles in the tarot represent something that lasts for a very long time. When you think about it, there are still castles that stand today, right? So very stable and secure. With the 9 of Cups, you have the 6 of Wands, card of success and excellence. Funny enough, there is a person right here above my finger who's meant to look jealous on the 6 of Wands. So like I was saying, I got this energy of people maybe being like jealous, or I don't even know if it's jealousy or if you're just, again, if you're triggering those people by, living your life, and maybe they're triggered because they can't set themselves free, right? But that's not your fault. So that's what I'll say there. With the Six of Swords, you have the Death card. Definitely a change. Like I said, you're getting ahead of something here. And again, I would trust your instincts just in general. I'm getting in this row. If you feel like you need to save a little extra money, do it. If you feel like you need to start something else in your business just to kind of like diversify, do it. I feel, especially in work or business, I feel it's super, super important that you kind of trust those things that you're feeling, because it looks to me like you're getting ahead of something. And, I feel like you're going to be super, super happy that you did. With the Five of Cups, you have the Ten of Cups. Like I said, this is what you're heading towards. I feel let go of the worries in love, for sure. If you're in a relationship, if you have new love, if you've recently met a person or whatever, and there's some sort of difference here, Two of Swords, it's like I'm not seeing it as a good thing or a bad thing, the Two of Swords in your reading. It's just like popping into my head as like two things for whatever. And we'll explain that in just a minute. But I think things could go very, very well. Obviously, Ten of Cups. Next, in the area of the unexpected, you have this Hair card. It says Strength. Take time to make clear decisions. Bring awareness and light to a situation. So I feel that this could be part of the getting ahead that you are doing here. When you think about it, rabbits, hares, rabbits, they're very alert. This little rabbit's ears are kind of standing straight up. It's almost like it's been alerted to something. And I wouldn't really call this a warning. And the other thing that I would say here is that the good news is you're getting ahead of whatever is coming into your life. So I don't even think it's a scary thing necessarily, but I feel like you're getting better at preparing for the future with this. And, it's probably going to lead to a change. When you think about it, rabbits make big leaps as well. So whatever you're doing could be leading to a big leap. You have the Tower, the Five of Wands, and the Two of Swords. Again, definitely some sort of conflict. I would be careful of conflict this week in general. Again, I'm not going to sugarcoat that energy right there. I would avoid conflict at all costs. As I always say, to me, tarot is not something that's set in stone, and I feel this is your solution, the Two of Swords. Two of Swords can represent a mediator, so if you're dealing with an issue like in love, or if you're experiencing some sort of conflict, this could say that you need to get like a third party, not as in a third party in love, but another person could potentially mediate a situation that you're dealing with. So if you are dealing with conflict, there might be a person who can help, is what this is saying to me. It could also just say you needing to compromise. So again, to me, I don't really care that Mercury retrograde isn't happening until the 30th of October. To me, retrograde years, I talked about this, right, with Will Smith. Will Smith clearly does not watch Minnow Pond Tarot, because I was talking about this before the whole Will Smith thing happened. I said, no arguments this year. I just feel intuitively, even outside of the retrograde, intuitively, I just felt like this year is a really bad year to get into arguments and fights and, all those other things. So what I would say here is I feel like it would be better to kind of think about how you can compromise on any situations here. It feels like sometimes I think maybe we fight with like, especially if this is new love for you here, that where there's a conflict, if you're in something new, sometimes I think we kind of, just go back to old situations with old lovers. We bring some of those situations forward to new love when the situation might be completely different. So, for example, if we're with a person, maybe they do something that kind of reminds us of something that the past person did. Maybe we don't realize it, in the moment that that's what we're thinking about, right? But it's kind of like on a subconscious level, we draw the line, we connect the dots. And I kind of feel like this is saying whatever could be triggering you, if it's a conflict with a person, it might just be, it might not be real, is what I'm trying to say. It's like you might just be connecting dots that don't even exist. You could just be kind of getting a little bit of that, feeling like, oh my God, they're doing something just like the last person. But maybe if you communicate, compromise, talk to them, maybe they're open to change. Again, maybe there's some sort of issue where your past lover wouldn't compromise, but maybe this person is totally willing to compromise, but you won't know unless you communicate. And I kind of feel that feeling here. So again, not a bad thing. I would just pay attention to it. I also feel like there could be some surprise opportunity for you this week. I'm surprised you have two aces. Two aces to me is big opportunities. I'm surprised the Ace of Pentacles didn't show up here, because I kind of have that popping into my head intuitively with this Five of Wands, that there could be like an Ace of Pentacles opportunity, something where you have to take advantage of the opportunity. You have to raise it, take care of it. And I feel it could be very successful. You do have the Tower here. Again, if you see something crumbling, I feel this is saying leap, basically. You do have the Star at the bottom of the deck, though. The Star comes up after the Tower, and it does represent a healing. So, like I said, I don't really feel like that Tower is too big of a deal. Let's see. With the Tower, you have the King of Swords. So some of you, this is like law and order. And so some of you actually could be getting justice here. For others, I feel this is asking you to, again, just pay attention to your discernment. The King of Swords, he's very wise, and he trusts things that he has seen in the past, kind of. And I feel like you need to trust that. Like if you have some sort of feeling that you should, like I said, save extra money, definitely popping into my head. Although I kind of feel like there are other things as well. You might be getting ahead in your business. You might come up with like some brand new idea, and maybe it's a little bit kind of like futuristic. Maybe it's a little bit in the future where it really pays off, but working on it now will kind of get you ahead, which is what this reading is really talking about. With the Five of Wands, you have the Three of Swords. Again, I feel like you need to avoid heartbreak. I definitely got some sort of argument or something like that. Again, the whole point is, people always say, your readings are too positive. I'm like, no, really, if you listen, my readings aren't like positive or negative. To me, tarot is not set in stone. To me, the people that think that tarot should be negative, for example, should point out negative situations, don't understand tarot, because tarot should provide solutions. That's why you're watching this before the week happens, right? So that you can avoid these things. So this can be avoided. And I'm telling you right now that this is like some sort of argument or a triggering moment where you just feel like, oh, this person's just like the last one, or something like that. That's like the feeling I get here. And that's all I do. I just express my feelings, right? Here, Leo. And so I would be careful of that. If you're getting triggered, remember me, right? Don't Will Smith, right? And what I would say is, I would just pay attention to your feelings and say, maybe this person really isn't like the last person, right? And maybe if you communicate what the problem is, they'll be like, oh, no problem. I can fix that, right? And I kind of get this feeling of things being a lot easier to fix than you realize. With the Two of Swords, you have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is like lying, cheating, stealing. So I would definitely be careful. For some of you, I feel like you could be learning that someone from the past did you dirty here, for sure. And again, to me, Three of Swords is a card of forgiveness. If someone did you dirty, I totally understand. That's like super hard to just be like, oh, well, I'll just forget about that. Especially if it's like a cheating situation from the past or something like that. To me, that's a very hard thing to forgive. But, I kind of also feel that forgiving it will be the thing that leads to a new situation coming into your life if you don't have one already. Again, like I said, Mercury retrograde, I'd be very careful of just, letting someone, sometimes I think, people come back from the past and they're like, they want forgiveness, or they kind of feel bad, so they want to tell you the truth. But do you really want to know is kind of what this is also saying to me. So there you go. Next in the area, what you need to know for your highest good, you have this Breathe card. So clearly, if there is some sort of sketchy situation with a person coming back from the past, I would say breathe through it, right? And you don't have to respond to this person or anything. It looks like you're going to be victorious anyway. Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords in this row. For others, again, if you're in a situation with a person before you have the reaction, I would just say breathe first, think first, and then have the reaction, right? Because I just get this whole thing about thinking, like kind of being triggered by past people and not realizing it. And, that's what I would say here. In this row, you have the Lovers, the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Swords. Love it. Definitely some sort of truth and victory coming out. Again, I would be careful. As I always say, it's like, if an ex is coming back to clear the air, it's like, do you really want to know that they cheated on you with your like mother, aunt, and cousin? It's like, you probably don't want to know that, right? So I always tell people, it's like, be careful during retrogrades with people coming back wanting to apologize, because, diarrhea of the mouth, right? You never know what could come out during a retrograde, what they could say, what they could apologize for. It's like, yeah, it's nice to have an apology, but it's like, do you really want to know some of those things? Or is it best just to kind of like move on from a situation? So again, if you have a person, I feel like this is only for those of you that have a person that could try to communicate from the past, who maybe there's some weirdness. I feel like you kind of felt it intuitively, and maybe you want to block that person just so you can't hear it, right? Because I feel like you knew there was a situation. I also feel that there could be new love coming in for you. Lovers is clearly a new love. For some of you, I feel like you already have new love right now with this Lovers card. It could be a Gemini. It could be someone who has Gemini on their chart somewhere. You have like water here, a lot of air. So it could be an air person as well. But, take it how it resonates. And I feel there could be new love coming in for you. This is definitely a very like solid situation. Ace of Wands, very passionate and a lot of growth. The Ace of Wands is also my card of out with the old, in with the new. There's a castle back here that's crumbling. And that castle is kind of something old in your life that maybe has been established for a very long period of time. You I thought you had the five. Oh yeah, you have the Five of Cups here. And so, the Five of Cups, I feel, is like you could be crying over this past castle right here. You can even see on the Five of Cups that he's standing in front of a river. There's a river in front of this castle right here. But really, I feel with the Five of Cups, it's saying you're moving towards a new castle. You're moving towards something new that's established that will last for a very long period of time. So if you're making changes, especially I get for those of you in work and business, I feel that there could be like a new castle that you're building, something much better, something longer lasting, something that isn't falling apart, right, with this Ace of Wands. And you have the Ace of Swords, which is a victory. Ace of Swords is also the truth. So like I said, there could be some sort of truth coming out. I would definitely be careful of the truths with this energy. And, we're all different. Some of us, again, if we found that out, that someone cheated on us with like every single one of our best friends, and we found that out, maybe that wouldn't bother some of us, but I don't know. It would bother me, right? So you might want to be careful here. Let's see. With the Lovers, you have the Sun. So you showing up in a very strong position, a lot of happiness in those new love situations, a lot of childlike energy as well. With the Ace of Wands, you have the King of Cups. Could be a water sign coming in for some of you. I feel like you've been getting water for quite a long time, maybe for a few months with me. You've been getting water. King of Cups is also very stable emotions. He's sitting in these choppy waters, but he's perfectly fine. So I feel for a lot of you that you're, regardless of what's going on in your life, you're like perfectly fine. I also feel like it's interesting that you have the King of Swords, then, going this way to the Queen of Swords. To me, the King and Queen of Swords are like the worst divine counterparts possible. So it looks to me like you're avoiding a person. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, like building that castle could be a lot of work, but I feel like you're going to be very successful here. Definitely a lot of responsibilities, and I do feel like you're working very hard at this time. Next, in the area of messages from your guides, you have this Hawk card. This card says that you are a visionary, that you need to pay attention to your visions and the things that you're seeing about the future. And I definitely get that feeling here for you, Leo, where you really need to pay attention to those things. This card also, I'm pretty sure in this deck, has some sort of connection to your guides. So I do feel your guides are guiding you. Remember what I said about this Judgment card in the beginning of the reading. You have the Judgment card, Page of Cups, and the Queen of Swords. I feel your guides are literally communicating with you. This guy right here is your higher self angel. So it could be your higher self, could be your guides, but I feel like you're being asked to, again, leave something that has crumbled from the past behind and to step into the new world. I always say these people are standing in their coffins. The coffin represents their old life. Outside the coffin is their new life. The whole entire reading is like saying, allow something to crumble, right? Tower, and create something new, which I feel like you've been kind of going through that process anyway, this reinvention process. I think it's also important to point out that it's like you might not totally be leaving something behind. You might just be transforming a business into something new, for example. Even in love, it's like you could be just going through a transformation process in a relationship that you've been in. It's going from one thing to another. So I don't think we have to like ever truly cut things out of our lives, as long as, both sides of whatever the situation is go through the transformation. It's like if it's a business and you change, but your business stays the same, maybe that's not going to work. But if you're changing, your business is changing, and you're kind of both being lifted up, then that's good. Same thing in a relationship. It's like a relationship can change. Both people can be lifted up, and that obviously is a good thing. Definitely love for those of you that want it. Like I said, it could be a water sign. I'd say it's probably water with air, which I guess makes sense. But whatever is what I would say to you. And I feel this could be a good opportunity for love, but I would, again, be careful of those past situations. And with the Queen of Swords, I feel like you're just open and ready to receive something new in your life. I think that it's, something that I just want to point out before we move on is I think it's super interesting that, again, the castle on the tower, the crown is falling off the top of the tower. And then you have the sword right here capturing that crown. It's almost like you're, kind of reclaiming your crown or something like that here, Leo. So very powerful kind of imagery that I'm getting here in this reading. Let's see what's going on here. With the Judgment card, you showing up here in a very strong position. So King of Wands, feel like this is your energy. Definitely a good time to be bold, to be assertive, to like really stand up for yourself here. So I would definitely do that. I'd be careful. Like I think there's a difference. And, I kind of feel there's a need, especially if you're coming to a compromise with a person here with that Two of Swords, which I think is totally acceptable and more than capable of happening as long as you don't get into a fight, argument, blowout, brawl match, right? Something like that. What I would say here is I feel like there's a way that you can get your point across. King of Wands, he gets what he wants, right? And the other person can get what they want, but there doesn't have to be some sort of, big blowout. So this doesn't even have to be love. I would just say avoid arguments at all costs and try to come to compromises here. With the Page of Cups, you have the Four of Cups. Again, I felt this energy, but we already talked about this. He's kind of in love, maybe looking at these could be like past love situations, and he's looking at all those situations and saying, well, I never got what I wanted. And I feel like some of you are like, do I accept this new offer? Do I allow this new person in or not? As I always say, to me, 2022, Libra, right? You have all this Libra energy here, and to me, the Justice card is the answer for you, Leo, in 2022, is to put a little energy in. If you're getting energy back from the person, keep going. I think as long as we do things in balance and we don't just like love bomb a person, right? Or just throw everything at them. As long as we do that, then we'll experience something balanced. And that's what I see here. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Two of Swords. Again, leave the comfort zone. You have the Two of Swords twice. She needs to go to this new island behind her here. And I feel for a lot of you that going towards something new, obviously, is going to be very beneficial for you. Leo, pretty intense reading. I like this. So we're going to pull 3 yes or no question cards, Leo. Feel free to pause this reading if you need to, but we're going to do 1, 2, and 3 right here. So again, feel free to pause the reading 1, 2, 3 if you need time to think of your questions. For question number 1, you have the Empress. I would say yes, definitely a lot of abundance coming in for you. Definitely a change in your abundance, I feel for those of you that are making an upgrade to your work or business, or again, even if you're retired and you're just getting ahead of something, like maybe you're saving more money, or maybe you're doing things to make sure you're saving more money, whatever the case may be, I feel like you're getting ahead, creating more abundance. For question number 2, I would say yes. I feel like there's some sort of blessing coming in for you here, so yes. For question number 3, I would say no. I feel like you're walking away from something. Looks good. I love this. So thank you for being here, Leo. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your Sun, Moon, and Rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.